Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fair Game Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Smith. Here on the show, we want to make sure that we're representing as many facets of our great industry as possible. So today we wanted to chat with concessionaires who actually have a family history in this business. Here to talk more about Ross Concessions, our independent concessionaires, AJ and Carolyn Ross. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Hey guys.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
You guys are in the truck. Like, this is the life of concessionaires. You're not driving. Full disclosure, anybody listening, they are not driving. They are parked. They're at the shop working on some things today, and they needed a quiet spot to record the show. So welcome. I hope it's not too hot down there and you guys are comfortable in the truck.
It's actually really nice today.
We got a rain front came through last night and it was cool this morning. So
it's about 70, right?
Yep.
Rough, give or take.
Well, that's a lot better than what it'll be like in August. Now, remind me where exactly you guys are again.
We're in Crystal River, Florida.
Crystal River. Got it.
Mom and Dad have a house here, and this is where we winter for the month and a half we have off.
Right. Crystal River. I went snorkeling with manatees there one time.
Sounds about right.
Yep, that's what Crystal River is known for, is manatees. Anyhow, so forget concession talk for a minute. You guys had some really exciting news recently. I understand there is a junior concessionaire on the way.
Yes, there is a little baby, but we're not finding out if it's a boy or girl. So it is a little peanut for the time being.
It's a little peanut. So are we going to be getting like updated sonic or ultrasound photos and whatnot? We're gonna keep.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. We're just not gonna find out the gender till
all the people with multiple kids that have seen if it's a boy or girl, they'll know right away.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you got to be careful. When I remember it, because Nate's 13 now, but I remember when Sarah was pregnant, some of the pictures, depending on which machine they were using, I was like, that looks like a little alien in there, I guess. And then some of them were like 3D renderings. Like when he was born, I was like, oh my God. So you might want to be careful what images you're looking at, because there might be a dead giveaway.
Yeah, we figured as the baby prolongs and grows, we're gonna have to like tell the sonogram tech or to hide it, like, put a piece of paper up or however, so we can just see the head.
Hide it or hide the lack thereof it.
That's right.
There we go. Yeah, hide the lack thereof it.
That's awesome. So how far along are you?
I am 14 weeks, so it's about the size of a lemon, but we could see the little heart flutter and everything, and baby's healthy, I'm healthy, and God's good with all of that. So we're doing really well.
Excellent. Now, I know you said you're not going to find out, which is cool because there's so few real surprises left anymore. But have you thought about names for both sides?
We have stop. He makes fun of all the names that I
now if I ask anything and you're like, we're not disclosing, feel free to say it. But are you able to share what some of the name options are?
Yeah, I mean,
you tell them, because
I'm horrible at secrets anyway. So the day I found out, the whole world knew I was pregnant. So we just want it to be extremely meaningful. In a perfect world, I would name the baby Selah. AJ says no. And then I said Juniper, and he goes, we're not hippie. So Riley.
Well, and all of us are going to be allergic to your kid if you name your kid Juniper.
Right. So we've talked about Riley, because Riley could be a boy or a girl.
Carolyn came up with the name Eleanor, but then we had a friend of ours that was like, well, you would name her short Ellie, and then people would think you named her after the elephant on top of the trailer. I was like, that's not.
Oh, we can't do
rough. Eleanor. That's a good call, because your concessions trailer has a big inflatable elephant on it.
Yep.
Yes. So no more Eleanor.
Have you thought about something simple like Robert? I mean, that would be awesome for a boy. Roberta, if it's a girl, like, come on.
That's like the one common thing is that everybody's like, my name would just be perfect for a baby. It's very simple.
That's just what happens. Sarah and I went through the same thing.
Yeah. So we'll probably wait till the week before the baby's due or the day of and decide.
I forget when we finalized, because we found out, we knew Nate was going to be a boy, and I don't remember. It might have been a month or so before he was born that we finally were like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no rush.
Hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard, and you realize what names you don't want
Really fast.
very
Yes.
fast. And then
Yes.
so yeah, I don't know. Nothing's set in stone for sure.
Well, awesome. And this is your first, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
So what kind of impact do you see becoming parents and having a business? Where does that stand? Are you guys going to still be going out, or are you going to take some time off? What does that look like?
We're going full swing with baby and all. And AJ can articulate, he grew up on the road. So
Sure.
his mom was shaking lemonade like the week before he was due.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then he was 6 weeks on the counter with one of those huge
Number 10 cans and
yep, sitting on.
they had me out. I mean, I've been out on the road ever since I was born. So for me, it's no question that the baby's gonna be out there. My family's out there. I have no desire to be anywhere different. So
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to be anywhere with, I'm sorry, there's background noise, but want to be anywhere that he is. And the cool thing with this whole industry is the amount of friends who become family.
Totally.
So the outpour of support that we've had, because of course, we did not plan when I was due. So we're due between during Winston-Salem.
it's October 17th, this due date.
Yeah, and Tallahassee, which both of our concession trailers are open at Tallahassee. So, but we've had an outpour of support, like, hey, we'll come down and fly and work. So mom can say, I can stay with baby at a couple weeks old.
Yeah.
And but I mean, January comes along, we'll be at the fair. I'll have the little one putting powdered sugar on funnel cakes. And then, of course, we'll have family help when needed, and we'll switch off. So, but yeah,
Well, and that's one of the things I found is one of the super nice things about this industry is with so much family, like especially on the independent concessionaire side, there's so much family going on. The number of people that'll be like, "You need me to babysit for an hour? I'll go sit in the trailer with the baby. You guys go work." It's I remember even over the last couple of years when I've seen Tanya and Jory, Team T&J, they're based out of Canada, but when I've run into them in Iowa, when they've had their little one with them and they've got to go do a show, I'm like, I got him.
Yeah.
I'll babysit. He can come hang out and play with giants while you guys do your show. No problem.
Right.
So,
and that's exactly kind of what we're looking at. And just all the friends that we have, like our baby is going to be, there's going to be clown friends, the extreme stunt. I think of Shane, like jumping off, and then you, and it's just, it's going to be incredible. So.
Yeah. Nate thinks that some of his coolest friends are in the fair industry. Like,
yes,
he's really, so Cafe Anderson came up once. He's a great country singer and had a Netflix special. And Cafe and I have been friends since he showed up at Texas fairs, I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. And Nate's met him a couple times. So Nate's first concert was a Cafe Anderson concert. I always thought it would be Boys to Men, but no, it was Cafe Anderson. And so he was singing Cafe, kind of humming one of Cafe's songs, I guess, at school one day. And one of his friends was like, "Wait, you know who Cafe Anderson is? You sing his songs?" And Nate's like, "Yeah, I know who he is. No, literally, I know who he is. Like, my dad is friends with him." And of course, then they were like, "Oh my God, really?" And it's like, "Yeah, now I'm the coolest cat ever." So your kid's going to grow up knowing all sorts of people. And it's going to be like, when he finally goes to school, it's going to be like, how do you know all these people? And it's like, well, when you're on the cool side of the industry, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So we're super excited.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. We're super stoked for you guys. October will be a busy time. I suppose if you need a hand, October 17th. So I finish in Waco and then I've got like 2 weeks off before Hillsboro. So I'll be in Florida. If you guys need an extra set of hands, I can come help out too.
We'll be in Sarasota.
Yeah, we'll be. You want to pull a trailer?
Maybe. I got a big truck. I can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Listen, so AJ, you've got a family history in the concessions business. You were talking about since from the time you were born. Talk about that. Talk about your mom and dad and where all that lineage started.
Mom and dad actually started in the business. I want to say probably about 35, 40 years ago now. I'm not really sure. Dad tells a story about he was working for a family out of Pennsylvania that he was 14 years old wearing flip-flops, a t-shirt, and a tank top, and he was a runner. He would run stock, and that's what his job was.
Yeah.
But so I mean, and he's turning 58 this year, I believe. So I mean, he's been out here for 44 years.
Yep.
But no, we started, mom and dad started it doing corn dogs and deep fried veggies and funnel cakes, and they've had pizza, they have lemonade stands, they've tried a little bit of everything, and finally found something that stuck and made money and was somewhat easier in the business to do than other things. I
Sure.
just said, actually, I just had a sit down conversation with mom the other day. Said I am so thankful that they never got into the meat side of the business and doing sausage and hot dogs and hamburgers, because I don't want to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So is it more complicated dealing on the meat side than it is just throwing some dough into a fryer?
It's a lot more because there's so much more regulations that get tossed around
Mm.
because of having you have to have it to the certain
Food
temperatures and
temps,
you have
yeah.
to have it. Yeah, it's there's a lot more that goes to it. And
Plus,
we sometimes fall.
I'm guessing the stock on that is a little bit more expensive than the stock on dough, on
Correct.
batter.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The funnel cake elephant ear is one of the lower sides of the business for as far as stock goes. But we try to keep our prices reasonable so that
Sure.
way it's not we're making hand over fist by any means, but we make a decent living.
So what all do you serve on your stand? Because I know there's a couple different stands, and maybe just I should clarify, your mom and dad are still out there running their own route. Yeah.
So mom and dad still own the business as of right now.
Yeah.
We made a 5-year plan with them, so we have 2.5 years left with them before we take over. The two elephant ear funnel cake, sugar waffles, deep fried candy bars, deep fried Oreos, those two trailers, and then they're gonna keep. They have two giant lemons,
Okay.
that literally look like a lemon,
Yep.
and they open like a Pac-Man.
Yep.
They have two of those that they're gonna keep until they decide they're done. And retire. And then my cousin has two pizza trailers
Okay.
that don't come out of Pennsylvania. They do one spot in New York, but
Right,
she
but
stays up
they're
there.
northeast. Yeah.
Yeah, Northwest Pennsylvania, Northeast
Oh,
United
northwest,
States.
northeast part of the United States. How about that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
I'm over here agreeing. Yeah.
Got it. So okay, so you guys, you and your parents have kind of come up with a plan to transition you guys into running Ross Concessions.
Yep, yep. We're
Yes.
we're on all most well on probably about 90% of the contracts now. Our names are on them.
Okay.
So that way when they are done, then we can just transfer over to where we fall into place and all the fairs know who we are. And I mean, I 9 times out of 10 I deal with the office as it is now. So
Sure. So what's your typical route look like?
we travel Florida from November until March, and then we have April off. Actually, we're leaving a week from to yesterday. We're leaving Sunday to go to Virginia to play a little festival,
Okay.
which is just a weekend festival. And then we go up to Pennsylvania and we run Pennsylvania, and then one spot in New York and two spots in Ohio until September. And then we stop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina in October, and then we go Tallahassee.
And then you winter over in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we
Why
get
wouldn't you
done
want to
this.
winter in the up in like New England, man? I hear it's beautiful at that time of year.
Yeah. I don't have to. I have enough freaking work to do on the trailers. I don't have to winterize and unwinterize them every year. I
For
have
sure.
no desire to do that.
One one winter, I will convince him to go to Pennsylvania and embrace
Maybe when
all
the
the
baby's
seasons.
like 3, 2, 3, 4, somewhere they can have fun and
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 they're
play in the
cute.
snow.
Yeah,
Yes.
but see, but don't
Yeah.
drive up there. Fly up there, stay
Yep.
at an Airbnb or a bed and breakfast or something
Yeah.
for like a long weekend. That's my thing. Like one of these years, because even in New Mexico, while we do get snow, it's more in northern New Mexico, not so much where I am in Albuquerque. We're always famous for what we call the hole in the donut because there's enough heat
Oh,
coming off the city that when the big winter storms come in, they split and there's literally on the radar you see a donut hole where Albuquerque is. So we miss a lot of the snow. But I tell Sarah, one of these years, I want to go to like Pennsylvania or Vermont or something for like a long weekend when there's like 3 feet of snow and just sit there and be like, this is beautiful. Okay, let's go home.
Yeah, like we
I
used
would
to, when I was little, Dad and I used to drive up because we used to go hunt in the wintertime. So
Mhm.
we go up, stay a week or so, and then drive back down because we always had deer meat to bring home with us.
Sure. Sure. Man, you guys have always have an adventure. I'm curious, what is it you both love about what you do? And you can both take a chance at answering this one.
Ooh.
I love as much as I complain about it and as much as a headache as it is, I love the equipment and to work on the equipment. It's so funny because we can go to a fair and I can be like, that's a Century trailer, that's a Waymatic, that's a hitchhiker. And Carolyn's like, it looks the same. There's no difference. They're all the
It's the
same
same.
thing.
It's got four
And
wheels.
like for me, it's like I see like the engineering side of everything and how impressive everything is. And it's just a lot of fun to be able to work on our own equipment to make it look the way we want and to be proud of what it is going down the road and when it's set up on location and what the patrons see and what the fair board sees. I love working on the equipment. I get to a point where I'm like, all right, it's time to get back out and start selling stuff. But I love being in the shop and working in the shop.
So it
He
seems like you really like working with your hands then.
Yes.
he
Yes.
is 100%. It is the most valuable thing about my husband. It's also the most annoying thing. His OCD, you have no idea. Even
Careful,
just
don't
like
throw him under the bus on the show now.
hanging a little picture in the house. The world is ending if it's just slightly like
Got to be square. It's got to be level. It's got to be
But
plumb.
it is the most beautiful thing about him too. I love it. And I'm looking out at like the concession trailers they're working on now, and it amazes me because I really couldn't I couldn't tell you left from right on the thing. But for me, my favorite part, and sometimes, it can be hard being around people 24/7, but the people is my absolute favorite part. I mean, having relationships and friends with people in Pennsylvania and then even New York and now slowly going into Ohio, like that's insane and also the best thing ever. So people will come up and I mean, it's been a few years, but just remembering say like the elephant ear with cinnamon sugar and building that relationship with them and meeting their kids, or they're also in the same journey as their young, like myself and AJ, and they're having their own, kids themselves and just building that relationship with them. So we leave for Florida, but then we come back up there and we're like, hey, let's go to dinner before the crazy fair route, starts. And they're, I'm thinking of the girls, Sarah and Pam, and just like, they're nurses and everything. And it's just, I love it. It's so cool. And they can learn about the industry as well. So I'd say
So
that's
it feels like those relationships are really important to you.
they are 100% the thing that keeps me going. And yeah, I would.
It's one thing I think our generation has pushed more to is trying to keep relationships, whereas the older generations,
genuine friendships and relationships, because life is hard, but enjoy this funnel cake with sugar, all the sugar in the world,
Right.
have enjoy the time at the fair with your friends and family. And it just so happens we became friends from seems so silly because people are very afraid to have conversations anymore. And so to break them out of their shell a little bit, we started doing a candy dish on the counter.
Yeah.
So when the younger kids come up who are afraid to look up from their phone, I say younger, they're, high school, whatever. But and they're like, oh, you have candy? Like, I'm like, yeah, have some Jolly Ranchers or whatever. And then they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so, it starts a conversation, and
Sure.
I love it. It's great.
Sure.
Cool.
That's awesome. Let's switch up on getting into this industry. We know you had we know you had the background, AJ, in this, but for someone out there who's looking to get into the concessions business, maybe they don't have the background that you had growing up in it. What are three of the most important things for someone to understand before they take the leap into this industry?
First off, you're not going to find employees that want to work. We are very blessed to have a family friend who is traveling year round with us. He at the moment lives in, we bought a new travel trailer that has 2 bedrooms. So he stays in the back bedroom. For us, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we literally sleep in it. We don't live in it because we're working. So for us, it really doesn't bother us. But we plan on getting him a nice travel trailer, or bunkhouse, or whatever. But employees don't come easily.
Yeah.
And when they do come easily, there's usually background to them. Getting equipment up and down the road is extremely hard. And prices on everything have gone insane. I mean, fuel, food, even just for people go, what blows my mind is people going eating out and complaining about the $100 that they spend on going eating out, but then they come to the fair and they complain about the $10 funnel cake that I'm selling. I'm like, you can't go to eat for 2 people.
I was just gonna get onto that with the next question. You know, I've seen all kinds of concession setups, literally everything from pop-up tents to really professional trailers like what you all have. What are some of the startup costs? We'll get to food costs and whatnot in a minute, but what are some of the startup costs that a newcomer needs to consider?
So I actually, when we take over, I like to purchase a new trailer. And through a very well-named concession manufacturing business, Century Manufacturing, out of Indiana, I called them in January. I told them kind of what I was looking for, about 18-foot trailer, kind of what I wanted inside of it, and he quoted me anywhere between 175 to 225, and it's going to be a 2-year wait. So, I mean, that's on a trailer, and that's not Waymatic is another trailer manufacturing company, beautiful trailers. I know of a gentleman that's buying one right now. He bought a funnel cake and it's just over 300,000. So, I mean,
and that's just the trailer.
Done,
does that include signage or anything, or that is just the
signage,
trailer?
That's the vinyl, that's the equipment inside. Sometimes depends on the equipment, but that's the vinyl at least. But you know, you can have a trailer, but if you don't have a route, you're done. And you're not making money.
Yeah. So then how does somebody make that transition in? Like, do they have to just start smaller and build up their route and then expand?
I have a good friend of mine that's out of New York that he started with his dad, who did Hamburg and Syracuse, and those are the only 2 fairs he ever did. Okay. He has Jim's Fries. He's got a little trailer, and he started with fried dough, and then he did French fry. No, then he went from fried dough to deep fried tacos. And he has expanded with his deep fried taco because it is a unique item that people don't understand. He has the Big E. He has New York State Fair. He has South Carolina State Fair. He's got very good spots because it's an item that you don't see every day.
Right. It's tough to just get in there with just a lemonade stand because they're so common.
Everybody has lemonade. Everybody has funnel cakes. Everybody has cotton candy. Everybody has fries, corn dogs. I mean, the list is like, you have to have something unique. Or if you want to get in the business, it's easier to, and I say easier, it's not easy, but it's easier to find somebody that wants to sell out and buy out. But the problem with that is that sometimes fair boards don't want to work with independent concessionaires on the new buyouts or buyers, and sometimes they won't ask the new people back. I've seen that happen too.
Got it. So there can be some, it sounds like unless you got something really unique, there's the potential for some cutthroat deals going on your side of the aisle.
Yes, 100%.
But if you want to do it, there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
I gotta throw that in there. We're not killing anybody's dreams.
Right.
But it is hard to get in. I wouldn't even know where to start. So I'm grateful that his family, it's something that we can go into versus starting cold turkey, because the opportunities might come up as the industry is getting older, for people to get into the industry by buying over companies.
One of the other things that, to add another point to it, is that I just went and bought a semi and a pup trailer this year. So I'm going to start pulling doubles with our concession trailer.
Okay.
And I did not realize the amount of paperwork and the amount of stuff that goes into having a big trailer, a big truck.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was just going to be filling out the paperwork, but I didn't realize that. So I am now sole proprietor. I now have my own FEIN number. I have all this stuff that I never had to have until I was like, let's buy a semi.
All his idea. I was like, babe.
It was, yeah. So there's a lot. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
It seems like that the cost for that kind of business can add up quite quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Well, and you got to have, it's not just your your payments on the trailers. It's your insurance on the trailers, your
Yeah.
you got overhead for employees, and it's like you said, it's tough to find employees. Man, it adds up fast. One of those things that really can go quickly is food costs. Back during the pandemic when I was running all these episodes, I had Dominic Palmieri on, who is the Midway Gourmet for RCS, and I'm sure anybody connected with NICO, with National Independent Concessionaires, knows who Dominic is. He was telling me at the time, and I want to say it was probably March maybe of 2021 when I had his episode. Even at that point, his food cost had already exploded just during the pandemic. He gave the specific example. I think turkey legs were up at that point like 95 cents or $1 per unit, which you think, it's only 95 cents. That's not a big deal. But they do like $750,000 to 800,000 turkey legs a year. That's nearly $1 million in additional cost for one item. That's just the turkey leg. Forget anything else. Forget chips or corn dogs or nachos or anything like that. So the economy here in the U.S. over the last 3 years has been a little bit of an adventure. I think there's what we hear on the news that everything's great, and then there's what we actually experience when the rubber meets the road. So what are you guys looking at with food costs? Can you talk about that impact on the business?
Food cost, thankfully, my mom and dad have very good recipes. So all of our stuff is all handmade, from scratch. So for us, it's not been a dramatic difference.
Okay.
But what has changed a lot has been oil. Oil has doubled in price.
Like your cooking oils, your frying oils.
Frying oil. Flour has went up. Sugar has doubled in price. Trying to think what else has really went up. I've tried to change slowly but surely. I've tried to change a little bit to make it so that it's easier on me and it's less that we have to spend. So I've changed, like we used to use liquid vanilla from Restaurant Depot, and now I use powdered vanilla. So that way I don't have to carry as much and I don't use as much, and just I'm trying different stuff.
So by using the powder, then you make it on site. You make it and mix it then, and it goes further.
Yep. Everything, we add our own eggs, our own water. Everything is made. We make it from scratch. So eggs are another thing that has been very volatile lately about just fluctuation. Like, and no right, another egg factory went down or whatever they say. And but it doesn't justify a $5 increase or a $5 decrease. And that's the thing too, is that I don't ever see prices coming down.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are finding a way to make it work without really getting killed on prices. Can you give us an idea of anybody else you've talked to in the industry? You don't have to name names or anything, but what other concessionaires are experiencing? Like, obviously, if you're dealing with meats, the costs have gone up incredibly. 100%. What are they looking at?
I know meat has gone crazy. I can't give a percentage. I know potatoes have gone up. I know onions have gone crazy. Okay. I know even lemons. Last year when we bought lemons, I remember when I was a kid, I remember buying lemons. Mom and dad would buy lemons for $12 or $15 a case. And we're paying $42, $45 a case now. And
if not more.
And I'm 28 years old. So if you go back even 15 years, that's a lot. That's a lot of money over 15 years to go up.
Right. And why do I have a feeling that case is probably not the same size case as it was when you were a kid? It's probably a little bit smaller. Are they the same size?
No, they're the same size. They're 140 counts. So that's the one thing that I have to justify on produce is if it says it's 140, there's 140 in there.
Okay,
it's just
got it.
But I know apples have went up. It's just everything. And that's the one thing that I have to say with us is that even though our prices have gone up, they've gone up very minimal, and we've tried to keep our food prices have gone up very minimal, and our menu prices have gone up very minimal.
Yeah.
We actually, when we go to Pennsylvania, we try to lower our prices just because I know the price of living up there, cost of living is a little bit lower than what it is down here in Florida. So we try to justify, we don't need to try to screw everybody. That's not why we're out here. We're trying to make everybody have a good time, and we're trying to have a good time ourselves and make money. And so.
Yeah.
I think we've been the same price for 3 years
now. Florida, we've been the same price for 3 years. In Pennsylvania, we've been the same price for
forever.
7 years, maybe.
So,
yeah. Well, and that's going through this economy. That's really wild to hold your prices that steady for that. Because I remember I was with you guys at not Martin County, Manatee last year, And I remember because I kind of had an idea what food costs have been doing. And I got a funnel cake from you guys, and I was actually kind of surprised that you guys weren't charging $2 or $3 more.
We try not to. We try to do this for the families, and we try to do it, we want to be comfortable. We want to live the way we like, and we want to be able to maintain the equipment the way we like to maintain it. And that is a lot of that for me, for that we do our own work on our own trailers. That's one thing I noticed more than food prices is the price of materials have gone up.
Yeah.
When I started helping my friend start building stuff, 2, 3, 4 years ago, a sheet of aluminum was $125, and now it's almost $250.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's doubled in price. So I mean, I see that side of it more than I see the food side.
Well, at least for us, because we have, flour, sugar, eggs, water. We're not. I can't imagine doing meat at all. That would be crazy.
Got it. So I mean, we may have touched on a little bit of it here, but what are some of the biggest challenges facing independent concessionaires right
now? Employees, for sure.
Yeah. And it's hard because I want to find the best in everybody. But then I hire someone and they don't show up, or they don't have respect for our equipment, or they don't have respect for just being, the equipment and the trailer, and or have little sly comments because we are young. And so I understand hiring maybe someone who is older and naturally looking down on us like we have no idea what we're doing. And so that's hard. And being able to also pay them a reasonable amount. We are also learning, though, how to be better managers because of our age. You can't always be a best friend. You also have to lead. And so just holding ourselves accountable, being able to manage better. And
they're never, no employee is going to care about what you do as much as you do because they don't have the economics in it.
Right. They don't understand.
It's not reasonable for you to pay them what you guys are making at the end of the year. Like, it's just not,
Right. And
in their eyes, it is. In their eyes, it is.
Some of them,
they don't. And that's where, like, people don't understand we have to pay to be wherever we are. A lot of people think we can just go to the fair and it's done. They don't realize that some fairs are percentage. So we're not making what's coming into the cash drawer. We still have to pay a certain percentage to the fair, pay for the house trailer, pay for
passes,
passes to get
power.
If they lose a pass, it's normally $25 to pay to the fair office. So just all those things into consideration. A lot of people don't realize, and so that's why we're. Like,
so all those things stack up and are translated out into the cost of a funnel cake.
Yep.
Into the cost of a corn dog or turkey leg or whatever you're getting.
Yep.
Right. French fries. Yeah, all of that. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's I look at our side as entertainers, and one of the things I see happen at a lot of fairs is you get an entertainer that they get put on a stage that's down on the kind of a no man's land, and they're sitting there talking to concessionaires like you, complaining about it, and I'm like, dude, don't complain to the concessionaires. Well, why not? Because if it rains all week, you're an entertainer. You're getting your check. That's how your contract's written. That's life. Right. If it rains all week, they may not be able to make the payment on their trailer. They may go into default. Like they're living on the edge. So don't complain to the concessionaires.
Living on the edge. That's funny. That's funny. It also helps us budget though, and make sure that we do have somewhat of a, like
fluff.
Yeah, a little fluff.
You gotta have a rainy day fund in there. Because you're gonna listen in this industry, you're gonna have beautiful fairs that you go, man, that was record setting, and then the next week you're gonna be humbled. It just happens. Yeah. Even on the entertainment side of things, like with some of us, I've talked to some performers that they go, oh my God, I booked 15 fairs this year. I've never done that. And then next year they're like, I booked 4. What happened?
Wow.
You had a rainy day.
Yeah, you have.
It happens. It happens. Let's switch up here real quick. If y'all hadn't jumped into this industry, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well,
that may be for Carolyn because AJ was born into it.
So I did go to college. I have a bachelor's in theology, and I really wanted to work in kids ministry. That even to this day, every time I go to a church, I'm like, I'm actually really excited to be that old lady who volunteers, when we're done working and we're old or whatever, and retire. I just love kids ministry so much, and working that is my dream. I dream one day. So incorporating that into the lifestyle that we have now, it's been cool to have like little mini church services on Sundays at some of the churches, or I'm sorry, some of the fairs we do. But yeah, I would probably be working
Ministry.
in a church or some kind of something like that to some capacity.
So
this one's blood is in the fair industry.
Yeah, I don't know if I can even ask AJ that. Like, what would you do if you weren't in the fair industry? It's all you've ever known.
During COVID, we took some time off, and I worked in the shop with my best friend Clint Yoder, and we rebuilt trailers and we tore stuff apart. That was a lot of fun, but there's something about, like, I don't know what it is, but it's the same way with a fair. If I sit at a fair for 11 days, I get to a point where after that, like 6th or 7th day, I'm like, all right, like let's go. It's time to go on. It's time to go to the next one. Like,
same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's the same way in the shop. It's just like, all right, I'm like, well, I've done this. I've done the same thing for the past 10 days. I'm ready to go. Like, let's do something different.
Yeah, very much needs change. Very,
for sure. Yeah, no, I'm the same way
too, because it's like with the fairs, it's the same as like if we're working on 2 different projects and we work on one project for 5 days and work on the next one, that's okay. I'm okay with that. But when we're working on the same thing, and it's like I like to see accomplishment. I like to see things getting better or looking different or looking the way you want them to look, or just accomplishment. And when we work like at a fair, I feel like when we work for more than 5 or 6 days, we're looking at the same thing we did for the first 1 to 4 days. So it's like, what is getting accomplished here? We're not doing anything.
Yeah, that's why I love my run through Iowa in June, July, and the beginning of August, because they're all 5-day fairs. Yep. They're wonderful fairs. And there's a couple that I'm like, I could do 10 days here, but then I know the reality, just like you, by like the 7th day, I'm like, okay, come on, let's wrap this up. Like I'm starting to kind of restage my trailer to put all the Play with Giants back in it. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Well, that's like,
I need to change the venue.
The last 4 fairs in Pennsylvania for us, the last one is 6 days or 7 days, and then we do 6 day. We close on a Saturday, move Saturday night, set up Sunday, open Monday, and we do that for 4 weeks straight. And that is like, I love that.
But it's boom, boom.
I love that because it's like, I know we're getting to the end of the season. Let's bust butt. Let's get this stuff done, and we'll be done. We'll be ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. Working directly with your spouse can certainly present its own set of challenges.
Yeah.
As Carolyn looks lovingly at AJ. What's some advice you might give to other couples on maintaining strong relationships while working together?
Sometimes you just need to walk away. Sometimes you just need to take a breath and just take a breath.
Yeah.
It's like there's no point in getting upset over something stupid that you're gonna say something stupid. Just take a breath, walk away for a minute, get something to eat, go sit down. We are on our feet some days for 14 hours a day.
Yeah, it's not.
You're gonna get irritated with anybody you work with. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's your wife or somebody in the joint. So for us, it's like sometimes it's just go take a half hour, go take an hour, go take a nap, go do whatever you need to do. Go talk to Clint, go talk to the fair board, go talk to whoever you want to go talk to. I don't care what you do, just you need to walk away for a minute.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would say we do well. But it is those long days, and it's not even that we're irritated with one another. It's been a long day. The people are
not always the best.
A little difficult on the counter, and I'm like, pay attention to where's my funnel cake? Like, I need a funnel cake. But I would almost also say too, like, don't let the attitude of those working with you or working around you influence your attitude towards your spouse, or really each other, because again, it comes with hiring people. Like, they might not get along or whatever, but don't let that influence your attitude towards your spouse, because you chose your spouse forever. You vowed to love them through good and bad days, sickness and health. Shut up.
And you just tell him to shut up on the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Shut up, AJ.
I know, and God bless him, because he loves chatting and my brain doesn't work well with multitasking. And so I'm trying to focus on what people are ordering, but then I'm also trying to listen to him laugh and joke around with everybody in the back of the trailer. And I'm like, what is happening? I can't concentrate. So, but when you're with each other, you learn how each other works. So just being respectful of that, but definitely the attitude thing. It's easy to let others pour into your life and your mentality when it's not their life to do that. So just holding yourself accountable and each other.
And for us too, this is going on 3 years we've been married, and we don't get into arguments. We get into spouts, but I wouldn't say to the point. Don't get me wrong. I have my father's attitude. I will get very angry very quickly.
You don't say.
But for me, and after the fact, I know that I acted like a fool, and so I'll stop and I'll say something about it. But in the moment, it takes me. And the guy we have working with us now, he is very good about calling us both out.
Yes, and humbling us both. Just also, AJ is a great man, and he's the first one to acknowledge if he maybe lashes out a little bit, and he'll be like, I'm really sorry. It wasn't my intention to upset you. I felt this way, so I acted this way. So that's really, really a great character to have in a man. So
that's excellent that you can take accountability, AJ, because that's
I'll tell you what,
in my long marriage so far, Sarah and I are coming up on 19 years this summer.
Oh my God.
And yeah, the earlier that I learned to take accountability and go, you know what, I screwed up. And now I do it even when it's not my fault, because she and I are both very stubborn, incredibly stubborn people. And so it just takes one of us to go, I feel like I did this and maybe I miscommunicated that. And then once one person is offered that olive branch, the other one, inevitably Sarah goes, no, actually, right. I was short with you. And I'm like, no, I was short with you first. And then we just talk it out and everything's fine.
And you move on. Yeah, that's definitely something that is a great advice. Like, that's just
great
something
quality. Yeah, it's a good quality to have. And do you have the same thing, Carolyn? Are you able to be like, I screwed up? Or are you a little bit more like Sarah and I, where we're kind of stubborn? I put her on the spot, and AJ deadpanned her like, can you? Okay. I'm not trying to break up a marriage or anything like that. I'm not trying to start a fight.
Caleb has my back all the time, right? We just got to find him. No, I just get overwhelmed very easily. And I don't know necessarily why, but I get overwhelmed very easily. Stop. So if I am in a role and then they miss something or AJ misses something, it's easy for me to be like, hello, pay attention. And then once we are not busy, I apologize for.
Yeah, that's the least amount of times that she yells. Okay.
Yeah.
Yell. Stop.
Well, and you don't want to call each other out in front of your employees. Just like with Sarah and I, if we're going at it, we will not call each other out in front of Nate. We're going to go hash things out behind closed doors. Exactly.
So just having that, no, I am stubborn. Yeah. I don't really know where else to go with this. I feel attacked. It's fine. No, but if I'm wrong, it
takes a while, but she'll usually get friends too.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have even less friends than I do now.
Oh my God, I feel like we should get off this subject, because there's gonna be y'all are gonna get off the podcast and be like, okay, we have to sort this out. I don't want to wreck. I'm not a home wrecker, so
we need to go to therapy. No, just
dude, I think we all need to. I'm so I still have COVID stress, so I still need therapy. I'm telling you. So listen, here's a question both of you definitely can answer. What's something you wish the 15-year-old version of you knew?
Just one thing.
Yes, let's not overheat another phone. So just one thing, AJ.
Yeah.
I know that people talk about it all the time, and I'm sure Nate knows everything under the sun and knows everything that's going on in this world and knows how to do everything that you do better than you do.
Not quite yet. He's getting there. He's getting there. He's 13.
Yep. Yeah. I wish that I didn't have that. My life would, not saying that anything's bad happened, but my life would have been a lot different than what it is now. If I would have just listened to what my parents said to me, taking their advice. But in that moment, it's one of those things I know what I'm doing. Like I don't need you around. I don't need you. And I still do it to this day. But the difference between, and I say this as like,
Loosely.
the difference between now and what it used to be is that a lot of times it'll be like stuff on equipment. I'll be like, I think we should do this. And mom and dad would be like, we've done that already. Like, yeah, that was 20 years ago you tried that. Like, let's try it again. Things have changed since then. So it's a give and take. I feel that
Sure.
I wish that I would have learned as a 15-year-old that, they've been
don't
through
know it all.
enough. Yeah, they've been through enough
Yeah.
that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's good. I think like don't have such high expectations on yourself and those around you, because we're all gonna let each other down and you're gonna
Sure.
let yourself down, which is not a bad thing. It's just the way that life is. So don't, and that sounds really kind of morbid,
Yeah, but like live and learn kind of thing.
but don't have high expectations, because it's life,
Yep.
things happen, and just because someone lets you down, that doesn't mean they will again. So just
Sure.
like kind of be more like easier going with things in life. I think for myself, like just it's okay.
Be
And
a little bit
especially
more
just have
be a little bit more kind and forgiving to yourself.
graceful with every day in the day to day. And that's with yourself and those around you. So
I think that's excellent advice. I really do. So listen, we're coming up on the end here, and it is time for the speed round. If you've listened to any of these episodes, which I don't know if you're one of our 6 listeners or not, but if you've ever listened to our episodes, we do. Well, I've been joking now. I think we might be up to 7.
Ooh.
It's getting fancy. Joe Rogan, here I come. So speed round, where I'm going to ask you guys 4 or 5 questions. You guys give me your best answers. Ready? Is that a yes? They're holding their breath.
Yes.
They're like, oh my God, maybe. Okay. Right off the top, favorite fair food.
Corn dog.
Italian subs for my cousin.
Oh, okay.
You can specific on that one.
Excellent. You can have coffee with any historical figure. Who is it?
St. Francis.
Henry Ford.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Disney. Walt Disney World.
Cross City, Florida.
Hunting. That's
hunting camp.
Hunting camp. Okay. I was like, I haven't heard of that, so I'm guessing it's hunting related. What is the best and worst concert you've ever been to?
Chris Stapleton was the best. Kane Brown, we weren't even attending the concert. It was just really bad. It was when he first came out.
He's not good.
He was not
early
good.
on.
He was not good.
He was not good.
I was like 14 or 15, and it was
with Austin.
No, it was with Erica Flagg.
Dixie Chick.
No, it was some boy band. I don't remember what the name it was. And
so that must be the best if it's that memorable.
That was the
right?
worst. That was the worst.
Oh, that was the worst.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And then the best was
Rush?
No, but I did see Pig Died Rush. No, Hank Jr. was pretty cool in concert.
Okay, I bet he would be a pretty cool show to see.
He was pretty. I mean, he's drunk all the time, but he was pretty good.
Well, I think a bunch of these guys end up being drunk on stage.
No doubt.
I mean, it is. I guess it is what it is. As long as they turn out a great show, then I guess then everybody's happy.
Jonas Brothers. It was the Jonas Brothers. I had to sit through as a 15-year-old or 14-year-old kid.
Okay, that would be a great concert.
It was terrible.
When you say you had to sit through it, you're telling who dragged you? Was it your mother? Your mom dragged you. She's all about the Jonas Brothers.
Listen, Linda. I used to have to fly home for school, so the family I used to stay with went to the same school as me, and I had to go with them because they were all going.
And it was a girl's family.
Yeah,
they were like, it
was fantastic.
It's funny.
Wow,
yeah, awesome.
Wow. And so you sat through the Jonas Brothers.
Sat through the Jonas Brothers.
I'm jealous, actually.
AJ.
It explains a lot.
Wow.
You tell the truth. Do you have the Jonas Brothers on your playlist right now? They are, aren't they?
No, I don't know what they sang. I don't even know. Are they even still?
Oh, she knows.
Apparently.
She knows. Wow.
Alrighty then.
All right. Well, that's an interesting way to end the podcast with a Jonas Brothers solo from Carolyn Ross. All right, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be here all week. All right, AJ and Carolyn, where can folks get in touch with you guys online?
As of right now, we just have a really good Facebook page because of Carolyn. She puts a lot of time and effort into it.
I wouldn't go that far, but thank you.
It's very good. Or on Instagram.
Concessions.
Yep.
Ross, ROSS, Concessions, CONCESSIONS. And just, you can find us. I had to think about it.
How do I spell our business name?
Yeah, well, concessions can get a little,
Well, listen, if the people can't figure out how to spell concessions, like
who are,
just use your phone. Just talk to it.
Yeah, talk
Ross Concessions.
Right. So, awesome. Well, you guys were a lot of fun to have on the show. I'm glad we got you back after that little freeze up with the phone, but no problem. Tech issues happen. I understand you guys are sitting down there at the shop getting ready to do some more hands-on work today, prepping your trailers. So I will let you go, but thank you so much for being with us. To our 6 or 7 or maybe 8 listeners now, glad you guys could be with us. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.